everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you guys how I changed out the conchos on my saddle to the new fancy ones that I got on Black Friday. First, I'm removing my old conchos and the leather pieces. And how I remember it is righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. These conchos are so old that it took some strength to actually get them unscrewed. And the leather pieces were just like stapled in. So with the new leather pieces, I just lined up the old leather piece and drilled a hole right in the center. And that hole is going to be for the actual concho screw. And then with this piece is the piece that goes right behind the concho. So it's the bigger leather piece, then this back piece, and then the concho. So I drilled a hole in the middle of that piece as well. This leather piece actually is a lot fatter than my old leather piece. And so I'm just going to screw it with the screws that the saddle repair kit came with. And remember to use my muscles. These saddle screws were a little bit longer than the ones that my old conchos had on them. So I actually had to like mess around with them to get them at the right length. Once I have the concho screwed onto the saddle screw, I put the saddle screw through that back leather piece. And then with steady pressure, I am putting that saddle screw into the saddle. I may have to put like some super glue or actually solder them on just to stay safe, just because they are so beautiful and I don't want to have another concho fall off while I'm riding. With this middle concho, it's actually underneath of the cantle of the seat. So what I was doing is I was trying to unscrew the whole thing, and so I just had to change what I was doing and just unscrew the concho itself, and then those two pieces came off. So the D-ring, I'm just going to have to put back on. That's just its own piece. So again, just lining up the holes for the center of that leather piece to make sure that it is perfectly centered. This one was a little bit harder to screw in than the first Concho just because of the placement of where it's at. It sits right underneath of that cantle. But that's kind of good though, because the cantle is actually holding it in place. So that kind of makes me feel a little bit better, but I'll probably still solder all of these like I said. So again, just using even downward pressure to make sure that I don't strip the threads on the Concho itself or the saddle screw. So the D-ring underneath of this Concho is actually pretty loose. It's a lot looser than before I took it off. So I'll just have to go back and tighten that up to make sure that it's not flopping around. The back Conchos were actually the hardest to get off. I had to use so much muscle to try and get that Concho off. It was like greased in there. You can see how greasy my fingers are and like dirty they are just trying to pull that Concho off. So again, just drilling into the center of the leather piece. This time I actually drilled the saddle screw in versus trying to screw it in by hand. Hey, gotta work smarter, not harder. Now to put some finishing touches on my saddle by oiling it, and ta-da! Got me a new fancy saddle. I hope you guys enjoyed watching me struggle through this video, but don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow me on Instagram, and stay tuned for more videos.